Roguetorso's Adventure Log, Day 1. It's not my first day on the server, but this is when I consider my adventure here on Unorthoblocks to begin. I wanted to spend some time at the beginning of this season on public projects and building some relationships with my new server mates. They seem like nice people. I regret that I have kept my true purpose for joining the server from them. I have nothing sinister in mind, but I have come too far to have my efforts thwarted by prying eyes or distractions. After years of dirty library basements, rotting tomes, and dusty old books, I have found it. The lost city of Aram, city of pillars, and the Atlantis of the sands. Many believe it never existed. Those who do believe it was destroyed beyond recognition and will never be found. But I know it existed, and I believe it can be found. I've tracked its location to a remote desert region here on this server. But to get there, I'll have to cross hills, rivers, vine-choked jungles, oceans, tangled bamboo forests, and scorched deserts. It will test my true commitment and my resolve, but I will not be discouraged. I don't care how long it takes or what hardships I endure. In this forsaken place, I will find fortune, fame, and Aram. So, here we are in our desert, and it is bleak. I mean, we have some areas of grass right around the river here. Some savanna over there, but it's not exactly accessible. There is not much here. So, first order of business. Survival scenario. Food, water, shelter. Well, we have a couple of rivers right there and right there, so water shouldn't be a problem. Shelter, we brought a tent with us. So we'll set up a tent right over here. And as for food, we have some with us, but we don't have enough to survive very long. So we're going to have to make some arable land. And between these two rivers is some flatter areas. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll dig out a trench that connects the two, and then we can spread canals out to make this our farming area. So I'm going to get to work on that. And here we are a little bit later, and we've dug this out. Luckily, we had some really good tools from our earlier adventures, so it didn't take all that long. The other thing we've done is we set up our tent over here. So just a simple little tent to get us through the first few nights. We've got our crafting bench, a couple of furnaces, a little table, bed, a couple of barrels. Got all that in there. We've got our little campfire with a couple of seats. And then, because we're recording this whole thing for posterity, I set up this little solar panel array to charge our camera. Also, you may notice the hand. We've changed into garb that's a little more fitting of our desert climate. So we don't want to get caught in a sandstorm and not be ready for it. So we changed skin. So we'll be using that skin for the rest of the season. But what we need to do now that we have some water flowing down here, over time, it's slowly going to go from desert and start turning back into like dirt and mud and stuff. But in the meantime, we need to start setting up some spots. Eventually, I'd like to get some up in here as well and make this a huge farming area. But for that, we're going to have to be able to pump water up. And I have an idea for that, but we probably won't get to that today. What I need to do first is start laying out some farms here. So we're going to start getting to that. And we'll work on that for a while. So we've taken a break from building our town up there. We'll get back to that in a little bit, but even though we're trying to find an ancient city, we need to take a little pause because it's come to my attention that everybody on the server really wants skulk, and we have some right here that we've collected, but I'd really like to set up a farm for it. Now, we're not going to the end for a couple more weeks, so we can't do the traditional Enderman farm, but there are some spawners over in a cave over there that I would like to try and take advantage of. So I'm trying to get a couple of things right now. I'll need a bucket. I need some torches. Do I have any more left? I'll sort through this in disorganized mess, which we need to organize. A storage area is going to be very, very important here very soon. But we'll get what we need, and then we'll head over there, and I'll pick this back up. All right, so here it is a few days later, and I wanted to show you this over here. So over here, we discovered the opening to a huge cave, and it was pretty cool to explore. I still have some exploring to do, actually. But if you go over here, and I can't remember, right here. So we've got a water stream that leads down into this absolutely, I don't know, it's just huge. And we had this, what do you call this? Mine shaft right on the surface, practically. And in this mine shaft, there were 1, 2, and if we go over here, 3 spawners. 2 of them are spider, that one and the other one that you saw. The other, whoops, I fell in a hole. The other one that was behind a wall is in here, and that is a skeleton spawner. Now, this skulk has grown everywhere, so you can't see it, and, oh, I left the farm on. But basically what happens, oh. Let's make sure we turn this. Yeah, so now we got it lit up. They shouldn't spawn anymore. But basically what happens is, normally there is a piece of dripstone right here, and the skeletons fall down, they hit the dripstone, they die, the experience causes all the skulk to grow. You take a hoe, you knock out all the blocks, and then if you, here, I can show it real quick. You knock out all the blocks, like so. Like that, and then you hit this button, and there's a stone generator over there that fills everything up. When it hits this corner, a redstone signal shuts off the farm, or shuts off the stone generator, and you're ready to go again. I spent probably 3 days making this, and it's not the fastest farm in the world, but it works, and we've gotten quite a bit of stuff with it. So here's the stone generator. It's pretty standard. I actually did this myself, which I didn't follow a tutorial or anything, so pretty proud of the way it works. But there's your, basically there's pistons underneath that pull the stone down. Then these pistons push it that way. Then it reforms because there's lava and up top and water sources right here, and it just keeps going until it shuts off. And right now it's off because this block is up. Once we knock that block off, this block comes down, we can send a signal through to turn it back on again. So pretty cool. This is just our item sorting system. We've got this skulk. I've actually got a whole double chest of this up in my other storage. We've got skulk sensors. We've got skulk veins, bones, and arrows. I am throwing everything else in lava because I don't need it. So that's that farm. And this has been interesting in this open cave. I have blown it up at least twice. So, unfortunately, that was bad. There was you can see it a little bit. There's a little cave right up there that I hadn't lit up. So every once in a while, a creeper would come down, or a skeleton, or anything else. So, that's the skulk farm. And we're going to be building a shop for that very soon. I'm supposed to do it. Whoops. I'm supposed to do it actually this weekend. But I don't know that I'll get it done. It might have to wait a little bit. But we'll try to do that. But now, we need to move on to bigger and better things. So, I don't even know what that is right yet. Oh yeah, one thing I almost forgot. I showed you how to get into this cave from here. What I discovered later is that if you climb a little bit of a stairway over here, yeah, there's more of this cave. It's pretty big. If you climb more up here around this pillar where we put in this little stairway, and you go up this direction, you eventually come up right here by our storage system. So there's a way down into the cave from there. We brought these parrots over from the trading hall, so I just got them over here. I need to bring the horses over too, but I'm afraid the horses would starve. There's nothing for them to eat in this desert, but we'll change that soon. But yeah, so we got a good way to get to our skulk farm. We're going to do some more industry over here, but right now we got to work some more on our farm, so I think we're going to do that. So at this point, you've probably thought to yourself, Rogue, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with all those farms if you're by yourself. Plus, what are you going to do with all that food? Well, let me tell you. If you look down here, we have our mine where we just were a little bit ago. But if you look right over there, we've got a village. Now, the only problem with this is that if you come over here, I'm not sure what happened. None of these guys will tell me. It's hard to get information out of villagers sometimes, you know, even when you're trying to help them. But if you go around this village, there's not very many villagers left. We got a couple of fishermen. We've got a Fletcher here. There's a couple of clerics in houses around here, but that's about it. There are no farmers left. This one lone solitary melon here. We've got some sugarcane that's been planted back here, but really nothing here that could provide the nutrients to rebuild their village. So I bet we can help them out. So I'm going to see if we can't get a couple of farmers and get started over there. And then maybe after we have some agricultural established, these guys will come over and help us out, because I'm sure there's plenty of things for fishermen, etc. to do. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get some things done in the farming area, and we will see what we can do to start our own little village, because after all, I'm not going to dig under all this sand looking for a lost city by myself. Not going to happen. So let's go see if we can get some housing developed. All right, so here we are. We have done all the work now. We did the time lapse of putting in all the fields. Now we've got villagers, and the first couple of villagers I brought over from the trading hall, trucked them over here, put some extra beds in these buildings, and they've bred the rest up all by themselves. So this started with 2 guys. I'm not sure which 2. They bred them all up to fill all of these workstations, which is the farm for, oops, I left that laying around, which is the farm for wheat. And then the same thing for this one over here with beetroot. We took a couple from over there and moved them over here to get these guys. And I don't remember how you get in this one. Oh, yeah, I do. It's over here. So if we go in here, these houses are very early. They probably will not stay forever. They're supposed to be little bunkhouses, right? Early game stuff. You got a bed in here, and then if you go upstairs, there's a couple more. You got a little balcony out here. We need to put some interiors in them, but like I said, they're kind of temporary housing. We'll get this place more decorated as we go. We're not going to leave all this sand. We'll do something with the yards. We might put some, you know, little things out here. Depending on what we keep, we've got this with grass and a few flowers just to make it look good, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay. Same thing over here. Not real decorated, still pretty early, but you got 2 beds downstairs. And then we did have 4 beds up here. We've taken one out because we only have 5 villagers, so we don't need them all. And then we've got a balcony up here, which these guys really like. They collect up here during the day quite a bit. And I suppose we'd better sleep. I keep kicking these guys out of bed. I know it's rude, but it's fine. Okay, so we've slept. They've spawned the golems. I actually had about 5 golems around here. At one point, I killed off most of them. But I'll leave them 1 just for protection. And then, if we go over here, which we've just gotten started. I was moving a couple of villagers. That's why the workstations are laying around. We built a little bridge to get over. We'll have to put in some paths and things as we go, but we haven't done that yet. But we moved a couple of villagers over here. And where did they go? Here they are. Here's 1. There should be 3 of them in here somewhere. 1, 2, 3 over there. Yeah. So these guys have been farming up the carrots, and they must have brought some wheat seeds with them. So I'm having to knock those out as I find them. They're also mixing potatoes in here, which isn't the best, but they can get to them. They planted carrots, potatoes. I'm not going to keep up with that, so I'm probably just going to let them do it. But these are kind of replicas of naturally generated houses, a little bit. There's nothing special about them. It's just 2 beds in a basic room. Again, we'll think of something better as we go, but I'm just learning how to build in a desert style. So right now, that's what we have. We've got this all fenced in. The reason we fenced it in is because these guys kept running off. They've got a bed, they've got a workstation, but once work time was over, I'd find them up on top of that hill or way over there on top of that hill. And then, of course, when night hits, they can't see their bed anymore, so they just kind of stand there until they get killed, which is not ideal. So we fence these areas in. It'll help protect them from zombies and other things as well. So it's not the worst deal in the world. But yeah, so that's what we've got right now. And these guys should do a good job. I'm hoping there should be 6 beds here. So eventually these guys should breed up 3 more to take care of the potatoes. They haven't yet. I've seen them try a couple times, but for some reason they're not getting anywhere. I'll have to figure out why. Maybe I'll have to put a couple extra beds in these houses. I don't know if those are too far away or what. But I have seen them try and they just can't do it. So maybe we need to make some changes there. I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, so that's the start. That's the start to our little village. And I'm planning on this being a rather expansive town. And this will just be the farming part of it. I've got some pretty big plans for this as we go on. But it should be a good start for what we're doing. I want to put some stuff on top of these hills, which we'll get to hopefully in the next couple of episodes. We're going to need some storage. So, some silos for all these carrots, potatoes, and things like that as they get made. But we can get to that later. For now, we've got a good start. We've got some irrigation. We've got some basic farms started. We've got some breeder. This is like an automatic breeder. And then as they breed up, we'll take them off to other places that we need them. The only other thing we did that I'll go over is we started planting some trees back here in the river. We've needed some wood for various things, fences, etc. So we planted some jungle trees because those were the easiest to get. And then we've also got another little patch of oak and acacia over there. So we're going to have to do a wood farm at some point, but we're not ready for that yet. So we'll figure out where that's at. And then we've got some sugar cane in the riverbed here, which we need to do something with that little area as well. But that'll be for future episodes. For now, I think that's all I have for this. Roguetorso's Adventure Log, Day 13. It may not look like much at first glance, but these small farms have secured our agricultural future. With the food that is produced here, we can support the army of diggers, blacksmiths, fishermen, fletchers, and other villagers we need. We've also taken our first steps toward making a livable space out of this forsaken place. Where once was only sun, sand, and death, suddenly life has appeared. I should take comfort in that accomplishment, but I cannot. I have a loftier goal, one I will not forget.